All right, guys, we are back. It is the Fogaley's Football Show. I am Spencer G. Let's talk about the other hire this week. We already did a video on Jonathan Gannon discussing the hire. I know a lot of people were not excited about Jonathan Gannon, but I think people were freaking out about 2 quarters of football rather than really giving Jonathan Gannon a chance. I think he's done one of the better jobs in Philadelphia in integrating all of these free agents, putting them into the puzzle pieces, and making this defense, the best defense really in the NFL this year. Although the second half was very rough against Mahomes in that outside running game, and Mahomes, really moved the ball. Kansas City did with ease. Andy Reid deserves a lot of credit for that. I think Jonathan Gannon has a chance to be very successful with Monty Ossenfort. I think Bidwell is prepared to give him and Monty a lot of opportunities there. It's kind of a rebuild for sure with Kyler Murray under contract there, and the roster offensively completely needs to be reshaped. And then they don't really have a lot of headline talent on that ball club. They are drafting number 3 overall, so maybe you can add a stud like a Tyree Wilson, like a great defensive player, or maybe you swing actually for a quarterback that can maybe stay more healthy, a quarterback with unbelievable potential such as C.J. Stroud, that's 6'4" and has had a ton of success at that level. Bryce Young would get too much comparisons to Kyler Murray, but I think Bryce Young is an even better passer as a prospect than Kyler Murray was. If you remember, that was a very weak quarterback draft, and really Cliff Kingsbury enjoyed the skill set of the Texas native Kyler Murray. Anyhow and anyway, you can also find my work on Slaughterhouse Sports and Rover Sports. Slaughterhouse Sports is a lot with Bruce the Sports Doc. We do some shows on there, but this is going to be a lot of football scouting. And again, it's going to be with the founders of Fogaley's, because we are making a product that can hopefully be unveiled maybe in a couple of years, a drink product. So we will continue to preview that at later dates. All right, so looking at the next hire, Shane Steichen. I want to say Steichen. I like the name Steichen better than Steichen, because Steichen is like such a quick ending to that word. But Shane Steichen. And I'm wearing this Texan shirt because I love the logo. I like the camo colors of the shirt, and it goes with kind of the black long sleeve look for this. So I know that Colts fans are going to come to this channel and think that I'm just a huge diehard Houston Texan fan, even though I am based in the Northeast and I'm just rocking this shirt because it is a cool shirt. Now, do I like the Texans and do I like D'Amico? Do I wish them kind of well? I kind of like D'Amico and I kind of like Houston, but I also don't mind the Indianapolis Colts whatsoever. So the Indianapolis Colts, ever since Andrew Luck retired, they've been trying to kind of find their footing. Frank Reich never really found that quarterback, never found that offensive system that could stay consistent and win. Jonathan Taylor was injured this year, kind of lacked explosiveness from his first year. The play calls were kind of predictable, whether it was Reich or Parks Frazier. So now they get Shane Steichen, and Steichen, I believe, is a high upside hire. Everybody says he's very quick-witted. You listen to him talk. He sounds very bright and articulate. Now, is he going to be a rah-rah guy that's going to get in front of the team? He seems very serious. So we're going to have to kind of see, his personality on the job as a head coach. But you look at Steichen, and he's won with a variety of different players. Shane's been able to do it with Justin Herbert, who had the combination of throwing and running. And, Anthony Lynn really gave, Shane the opportunity there with Herbert. And Herbert actually enjoyed a lot of success, as a rookie, and that was a very tough situation for Shane to be in with Herbert, especially after Tyrod Taylor. the issue and controversy with that medical doctor that had that misperformed act with Tyrod Taylor, striking his arm, and then Justin Herbert had to go into the game under short notice against the Chiefs and performed admirably with Shane Steichen. So Shane also had Phillip Rivers, who was more of a pocket guy than Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts. All right, Jalen Hurts is a decent thrower, but Justin Herbert has bigger arm than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a bigger guy, so with that offense, they operated a lot of running game, a lot of QB run, which is nothing that Phillip Rivers would have wanted to do, especially Phillip Rivers in his later 30s, all right? And they operated with Antonio Gates and a tight end and were successful under Mike McCoy. He was the quarterback's coach for Phillip Rivers. He's a guy that's from California. He went to UNLV, all right? And, this is a guy that is a Sacramento kind of West Coast guy, all right, pretty serious kind of guy that now is heading Indianapolis. I think that he's serious. I think he's good on offense. I think he adapts to his personnel. My question is, defensively, what are they going to do? How is he going to lead the team? Is he going to be consistent? Is he going to be really well liked by every but one of his players? I think that there's a high chance of yes. I look at this hire. I think it even has the highest upside of anybody in this hiring cycle, especially if the Colts get C.J. Stroud. And they can even roll out Anthony Richardson, kind of play the same ball that like Jalen Hurts did. So I like the hire. I like the spot. I still have a little bit of faith in Chris Ballard working with Steichen to create a really good roster. I think that the Colts job is better because you get to draft your quarterback. You still have some flexibility in terms of money. I like the weapons on Indianapolis. I like Jelani Woods out of Virginia. He was a former quarterback at Oklahoma State. He was a high-level recruit. He was a 6'7" quarterback out of Atlanta, Georgia. And you know how quarterbacks can sometimes go and be dominant tight ends or wide receivers. Like Terrell Pryor used to be a quarterback, Antoine Randall. There's a bunch. And then Logan Thomas, used to be a quarterback at Virginia Tech, was a tight end for the Redskins, now the Commanders, the football team. So, the point is that Jelani Woods, has that ability. Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati, very fast, very tall, 6'2" receiver with tremendous upside to even be the number one guy. Michael Pittman, who is I believe, a solid and consistent receiver. Alec Pierce might have more upside, but right now Michael Pittman is the bell cow at that position. They were dealing with it with a Carson Wentz where they never really threw the football. It was all running, and then Matt Ryan was really deteriorating and older. Sam Ehlinger never really had that arm strength, and I doubt Sam as a fourth-round pick is going to get a fair shot at even starting, starting off the season. So as a fourth-rounder, you got to go in there and deal convincingly if you're going to be a guy that is going to be trusted to start at quarterback. We look at the Colts right now. I like their weapons, okay? Defensively, you got DeForest Buckner. You have a chance. You have Gilmore. You have a chance to become decent on defense, and then you play in a division that is very gettable. So I like this kind of team as a team that if you connect on C.J. Stroud, I like Stroud as my quarterback one. I believe that Stroud is going to, he's taller than Bryce Young. Both are pretty dang good quarterbacks, but Stroud is just like the perfect prospect pocket passer, can throw it with touch, anticipates, just can make every throw. And I like a pocket quarterback with some movement skills like CJ does have. I just like C.J. Stroud's game. I don't think there's any issue with how he plays. Bryce Young, the only pause on Bryce Young is that he is like 5'10". He runs around and does a lot off schedule. And I believe that, unfortunately, you could get injured kind of going off schedule. You could get passes batted down. Once you lose your speed, it will be tough, but CJ Stroud's kind of a bigger guy, so if you look at these guys kind of later into their late 20s, early 30s, I think that Stroud has a chance for more longevity. You're talking about good prospects. I think that Bryce Young, though, is still going to be like really, really fun, really good quarterback in the NFL because his arm strength is just elite. Bryce Young has elite arm strength, and the way Bryce Young throws with touch to the outside is unbelievable. Bryce Young's personality, the way that Bryce Young leads teams, the way that Bryce Young is late in the game, his character on and off the field is something that as a coach you want, which is reliable. Listen, it's all right to miss bowl games. There's great football players and great guys that miss bowl games. Bryce Young playing in a bowl game, like I said, I just think that it just kind of added to the allure of Bryce. It's just he's a special guy. Again, it's nothing against those other guys. It's just that Bryce Young at Alabama, the way that he's interviewed, the way of his upbringing from modern day, the guy is a special quarterback in person, and I think he's going to be phenomenal as well. So those two guys are some of the highest rated quarterbacks, even as juniors, that I would, that I can remember going into a draft, and Indy has a great shot at them. All right, they're not straddled down with a quarterback. All right, so I look at Steichen, I look at his personality, I think that it has a chance to really work. Is he going to be overly analytical? Is he going to be like Brandon Staley a little bit? How is he going to do during rough times? The fans got to stay a little bit patient with him, but is he going to continue to adapt? I think that he can be one of the better, coaches in the league. I just think that he needs a lot. I just think that he needs time, but it is going to be interesting to see the staff that he brings around him, what he does defensively. But I certainly like the hire. If I'm going to rank all of the coaches actually based on the hiring process during this cycle, I actually like the Steichen hire, as crazy as it sounds. I know he hasn't done anything. I like the upside of Steichen even more than Sean Payton, because Sean Payton's a little bit older. Sean Payton defensively, is he going to be just really good defensively? I know he had Drew Brees. In Denver, is he going to be that great? I just think Steichen can really be the star of stars. I think he could have been the real mind behind Philadelphia. That is just a guess, a hypothesis. The second guy that I'd put on that list is, out of all of these coaching guys that ended up getting hired, I'm actually going to go DeMeco number 2. I like DeMeco's hiring at offensive coordinator. I like that he's going to bring Houston. I like the type of leader that he is. And from a football standpoint, I think that his defenses are going to play sound. Number 3, I do like Jonathan Gannon. And then I'm going to go with the established guys later. I'm going to go with Sean Payton and then Frank Reich. Reich has hired a nice staff in Carolina. All right, but Frank Reich in Indianapolis, he never really took Indy to that next step. So I just think it could be more of a retread, like a better Ron Rivera. Now, he is set up well with Matt Rule and the guys that he has there. The staff of Josh McCown, Deuce Staley, Evero. He has NFL coaches on that staff. So David Tepper's done a really nice job with Frank Reich, I will admit. So overall, it's going to be a fun football offseason. I know that this video ran pretty long, 14 minutes. But now we're going to get to some scouting of some quarterbacks for the 2024 class. But, guys, I appreciate y'all watching Fogaley's The Football Show. Thank you.